Hey, welcome back to the channel. You know what time it is. It's time for some Megadrive. It's time for some fake power, fake Sega power. So let's go. So this is one of those many different devices that are Sega related. I've been collecting and reviewing many of them. However, this is another one that I found really interesting, particularly when it comes to the packaging. Sometimes you find these very unique products. Most of the time you find them just loose, no box, and this makes sense, because if these things were coming in blister packaging, this is just one of those horrible packaging I personally really hate. So in here I did open it up, and in the packaging we're having the AV out cable, because that's one of the cool features we're going to be checking out. So let's see what is going on with this. So are the different languages open, the compartment and screwed it in? Okay, so I'm guessing this is not coming with a built-in battery that we have seen before. Different languages, and in here we're finding the manual, not the toilet paper manual, because this was the toilet paper manual. So 20 built-in games, all kinds of cool stuff that we can do. So I love these manuals. The old school days, having some information about the game over here, what it is. Alien Storm, aliens are invading Earth and playing as a robot. Okay. Alien Storm is one of those games I personally never had any connection with. Crackdown, Echo, even Echo Junior. So those are like the mix of games. I must say that was always quite interesting. So this is actually the 3-button configuration, 20 built-in games, and so far there are only licensed games, because we have seen sometimes these very strange looking ones, like having all kinds of wicked built-in games, and they are pretty bad. Okay, so let's see if I can slide my hand in and just grab it. Come over here. Yeah. And let's open it up and let's do a quick overview. Remove the plastic. So when it comes to these devices, the overall emulation performance is quite bad. So I do want to let me know in the comments, did you ever purchase one of these devices? Because they were coming in all kinds of shapes and models, but we're going to be needing 3 AAA batteries today. Okay, so the batteries have been implemented in the system, and the overall display is not bad. It's comparable with those cheap, let's say $8 devices from AliExpress. But when it comes to the games itself, the collection is slightly different. We have seen a lot of these games, let's say Firecore devices. It doesn't really state Firecore, but there's the same kind of technology they're using, or emulation. So in here we're finding Alex Kidd, Alien Storm, Alternate Beast, Arrow Flash, Columns, and the list itself is different, but okay, like Echo Junior or something I don't see very often. Sometimes we do see Echo. So in here we're having eSWAT, there's another very cool classic one, Flicky, Golden Axe, Jewel Master. Jewel Master is, by the way, one of those games I never really got into. So, but when it comes to Kid Chameleon, another game I've never played back in the day, Shadow Dancer, Shinobi 3, Sonic and Knuckles is in here. So, but the collection is kind of weird, because there is Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic Spinball, but there was no Sonic 1, 2 or 3, so that's kind of weird. However, so when it comes to playing these games, the overall experience is going to be the same that we have seen before. But the emulation performance, it's still running on the full speed, but it is possible that this is going to be like slightly different of experience, with a simple reason, because these things are running sometimes the PAL games. So the D-pad is very stiff when it comes to that, so it's not a big problem, but it will, let's say, give it a little bit of a downside to the overall experience. But if you're going to be listening to the audio itself, it's, if you're going to be cracking it up maximum volume, sounding completely off. But in the end, I must say, at this point, I'm quite surprised of the overall gameplay, let's say, experience. It's quite good. So Shinobi 3, what I realized playing throughout these games, that is one of the fun things if you're going to be buying, let's say, this for a couple of freaking $. It's just absolutely a fun experience to revisit and also experience new games, because this is one of those games that I actually discovered by playing through these freaking cool games, or game systems. It's interesting to see so far how good it actually, how fun it is. Oh yeah, slice and dice. But there is no quick load, quick save menu. We're kind of used to now with the Chinese products. So we're kind of, actually like limited to that when it comes to the software. But I love to try these particular games like Sonic and Knuckles, because I'm so used to the soundtracks. That Sega sounds kind of weird, but yeah, here you can just hear that it sounds kind of messed up. So when it comes to this particular model, it's only, so what you see is what you're going to be getting when it comes to the games. There is no way of adding games. Some of these add game systems do have the option to add games, and that's kind of cool. And I know there are a couple of them you can even upgrade with different firmware to have an overall better experience when it comes to the audio and visual part. But then of course, if you're finding this, let's say if you're not going to be collecting these devices, yeah, and let's say you're not collecting them, you want to play some old school Sega, I think it's absolutely a lot of fun. But you need to take consideration is that, yeah, you're stuck with the stuff you're actually getting, and of course the limitations. So we're having all kinds of different devices. Also when it comes to playing, we do have an AV out, something we're going to be trying out, but we're going to be looking into, let's say, a port or USB port or charging, whatever. This is completely, like, say, a basic model. So when it comes to the software itself and plugging this into your television, what is quite interesting that, so when it comes to that, you need to always turn this thing on and off. And also we do have a white and black and white screen going on over here. And this has the simple reason this is just running not like 100% PAL, or at least the menu. So well, let's get into a couple of games and let's see what's going on over here. Let's see how it sounds through a CRT. Oh crap, wrong button. Let's lower the brightness. Well, so far it's like a 100% accurate, but that sounds kind of weird, but kick him in the balls and punch him in the face. That's how it is. Or actually, when you're going to be kicking him in the balls, it doesn't have any, like, a head left, but you're getting the point. But so far it seems to be working just fine when it comes to that. But you know, the other thing I wanted to do is switching to an LCD display, how that's going to be looking. On these CRTs you can see that the overall, let's say, audio quality, it's not like the best, but also the visual part, it's quite okay. Oh. But this soundtrack I do really like. So moving on to the LCD display, with a simple reason, oh man, like I couldn't live with the fact that this thing has like this black and white screen, and I have no other CRT by hand. Signal output, especially when looking at LCDs, this is another way to actually see if it's going to be any good. So when here we're having Mean Bean Machine, that's one of those games I personally never really experienced back in the day, but a good reason, because for me Sonic needs to be Sonic, you know. Also here you can see the lighting, I mean in particular when you're looking at the overall quality of the image, it's quite blurred out, but I must say that on an, I think I'm using now, and what is this thing, like a 23-inch, it's not bad at all. But yeah, so this is an interesting thing to check it out because of the D-pad. Now we can see if this is going to be any good. Oh. Crackdown, okay. I always found this a very interesting game, but also the way how it actually is. Okay, so I messed up. That's one thing. Oh, I can actually move to the walls. Okay, that's kind of cool. Ah, crap! I messed up. Ready, Ben? Okay, yep. What an interesting game. This is one of those games I know they're out there but never really played. We are! So moving on to the Each What game that is based off the arcade version. I must say that I think Rolling Thunder is one of those games, Each What, many of those cool games I love of the arcade, the main versions, but this is such a fun experience. Oh, some sound effects sound really horrible. Come on. Arrow Flash, another game that I know by name, but never actually had as a collectible or like in cartridge itself. Man, those sound effects sound so horrible. I'm very glad I can actually adjust the volume by using the scrolling wheel of the device itself, but that's something that doesn't really happen a lot. You can transform into just a spaceship. That is kind of cool. But the sound effects, I don't like them in general. So if you want to see more of these games, let me know in the comments. There's a lot of these cool devices out there, or at least some of them are cool. This one is quite okay. Surprisingly, I was thinking like this is not like the best emulation, but it's enjoyable. But also quite unique to find this complete with the packaging, particularly because this is like this plastic seal thingy. I really hate, by the way. So the overall quality, yeah, there's a 3-button device, but when it comes to these, let's say, like Firecore handhelds, they have released so many of them. Thank you all for watching, consider subscribing, and it would be great to see you in the next video.